man.
Yeah, I know. What are you thinking?
I,
Like
I
an
want I want the
H5?
H, I want the H6.
Oh, dude, that would be so sweet. You
Yeah,
could
I'm
have
gonna
like
get.
6 people or something.
Yep, yep.
Well, let's see. Let me do an intro. Good morning, everyone. I'm Zach Scriven, and I'm here with Kyle Burt, and we're having coffee with Kyle. Although that's not the show, but we're just chilling here on the Zach Scriven podcast.
I forgot my coffee. I need to go grab some.
Oh, we got to do it over, man. We're gonna have to do this again now.
I'll be right back. Hang on.
Oh, this is kind of weird. It's like zoomed in on me. How do I unzoom? This is my first time using Zoom, and it is. I see why they call it Zoom. Oh. All right. So let me know in the comments what you guys think. So give you guys a little background about Kyle. He runs a show online called Coffee with Kyle's. It's primarily on LinkedIn, but they also have a YouTube channel, which I'll link below. They were kind enough to have me on their show, but because of how many guests they have lined up, it's not going to be due to release until next month in July. So make sure to get subscribed and check that out. That'd be really cool. The format of their show is like less than 10 minutes, and they're talking to entrepreneurs and creators. I think creators are on Tuesday, entrepreneurs are on Thursday. And it gives you just a quick like flash briefing on that person. So for example, like if you follow, I don't know, let's say Kurt Mercadante, you know, he's on Coffee with Kyle's. You can go learn about Kurt Mercadante, and it's a pretty high energy show, and the Kyles really kind of vibe off each other really well. So that's my intro on the Coffee with Kyle show. So one of the things that's kind of weird is like, it seems like my webcam is really cropped in, and I'm not really sure how to undo that.
Which one do you have?
A C920.
Yeah, the same one as me, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You have this one.
Yeah. Oh, you have a C930. That's the wide angle one.
Oh, okay.
Anyways, so that'll work.
When I switch it, it's very wide.
Okay. How do you switch it like that?
I'm just switching from like my built-in one to the.
Oh, okay.
But there actually is a way to change even the Logitech. Oh, here's original. Yeah, there's. Oh, it's not really changing much though.
I'm live on my YouTube channel right now, by the way. So
cool.
I disabled the mirror effect because that's one thing when I stream. What I do is I basically just stream what's on my main screen, right? And when you're looking at it, it gives you the mirror effect. So when I stream it out, it looks mirrored. Whereas for you, obviously it looks normal, but now I disabled that functionality. So now it's backwards for me, but normal, like people are like, oh, that actually looks like Zach and not like the mirror image of Zach.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
Dude, so how's it going, man?
Got my coffee. Cheers.
See this cup?
Oh, Dallas. There we go. Nice, man. Got some Dallas love when you're out here, huh?
Yeah, I used to live in Dallas like from July to August 2014 to like March 2015. Right there in Las Colinas, I was doing work for Pioneer Natural Resources, large SCADA project. So,
oh, sweet. All right.
Yeah. So I used to be like an engineer, programmer. You know, one of the things that I found interesting was I used to have a really jaded view of like sales and marketing. And we were actually talking about this last night. And I was like, I went to go see the movie Jurassic World, and I walked out like in the first 10 minutes because I was like, oh man, this is bullshit. They're like just trying to market to me, you know? And I was like angry about it. But then I watched it last night, and there's like this smooth cinematic shot like coming in front of a Mercedes. And I'm like, damn, that's good marketing. So I'm like, you know, now that I'm like, I've actually like embraced marketing and sales, it's like I'm more, I don't know, like open to it, you know? I think it's really cool.
Yeah, I agree with that entirely. So what do you mean you walked out after the first 10 minutes? Like you left?
Yeah, I left. I might have been like a little already drunk, so I might have just been kind of angry and stuff. But yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was like, I'm already paying for the ticket. Why am I also going to get advertised too? but I don't know. It was like they had like this Beats headphones, and I'm like, oh, this is, you know, dumb, whatever. But
Oh,
yeah,
it
I don't
was
know.
product placement.
Yeah, product placement. Which yeah, so now that I'm actually like more into advertising and stuff, I'm more open to that. But your post the other day, which I want to talk about, because I know we don't have a very long time here today, but you talked about you know, your business model, right? Where you have like you've partnered with a technology distributor, it seems like, and they have a resource of engineers, so you can kind of architect the solution, and they
Hmm.
have the manpower to kind of, you know, configure the switches and the whatever, you know, programming they need to do. So like you're able to do a lot more than just like if you were just an engineer just programming one switch at a time, you know what I'm saying? And so that's what I
Oh
think.
yeah, no, absolutely.
I think that's what's pretty interesting about um, you know, sales and marketing and like business development is like you can kind of move the needle a lot more than just an engineer. And coming from the engineering background, you know, you think you're the center of the world and you're like, oh no, like they can't do it without me. But I don't, that's not necessarily true. Like the engineer is almost just a means to an end. And, you know, there's
That's true.
fulfilling things about engineering as well too. But, yeah, so that's just my
But it's
personal
it's
background.
it's true. But sales and marketing moves the world,
Yeah,
right?
you're right, man. Without
Yeah,
a job sold, there's no work to be done.
yeah. Because no matter what you want to do, the first thing you got to do is get my attention.
Yeah. So tell me about your transformation from, you know, 10 years ago to today, and kind of what.
From 10 years ago to today, man,
Yeah.
it's a
You were
long
telling me a little bit
time, huh?
about it when we were in your, you know, your car about how you used to work for AT&T. I know a lot of my videos get viewed by AT&T, so I'm thinking that's like through your connections and stuff, but let's
Could
hear it.
be, could be. Yeah, AT&T still is like my number one audience. It seems to be. So yeah, well, 10 years ago. Okay, so 10 years ago, instead of going into film school at the Art Institute, I went corporate, right? And I got a job at AT&T and T and climbed up the ranks. Went from Phoenix to LA to Dallas, and here I am in Dallas still. Um, did everything I was supposed to do, right? Good little soldier. Worked up the ladder, um, and it was fun. It was good. It was sales roles. I ended up in enterprise sales before I left. I had like 12 accounts before I left, and kind of those type of roles. And it was fun until it wasn't. It kind of just got really boring, to be honest.
Yeah.
And the demands on corporate, the demands of your boss having to, doesn't matter that like last year you made Diamond Club, which is the top 2% of AT&T. All that matters is that what you did this morning is you
Oh,
needed to make 3 or 4 more cold calls than you did, right? That's all that matters. So, um, just coming from that whole world to to complete inverse, complete 180, where I've been doing this for 2 years now on my own, where it's not about pushing a product on my customers. It's not about pushing the widget of the week. It's actually about sitting down with them as a true advisor and as somebody that sits on the same side of the table as them to help them ethically pick the best solution in the marketplace. It's
yeah.
really what it is.
Okay.
So,
And that's what I
so
you mentioned too. It's like your people that you work with are vendor agnostic. So you, like you said, you're just gonna
yeah,
find the
and,
best
and, and I'm
solution.
and I'm vendor agnostic. So if they love AT&T, great. I have AT&T,
Yeah.
and I know AT&T very very well. If they like Verizon, great. I got Verizon in my back pocket. Like it's that simple. So instead of them having to go have a separate conversation with Verizon and with AT&T, they just have one conversation with me, and I got
Mm,
both right here. Take your pick.
okay. That's very interesting because to give you a little more background about myself. So my dad and mom, they kind of grew up in the SCADA industry, supervisory control and data acquisition. So think about
Yep.
industrial processes. They kind of had a niche in the water distribution, water treatment industries. So I kind of grew up in that industry, and so there's all these different software manufacturers. Like the first one was called InTouch by Wonderware, and now that's like owned by, it was bought several times, Schneider Electric, and now it's Aviva. But my dad was like all about InTouch, right? He like grew up on it. I grew up on it. And then there was this another product that came out, it was like a little bit, it's web based, and it's like, built on web technologies and databases you could hook up to it. And so I'm like, oh, this is way cooler. Like, let me be on board with Ignition. And then I kind of like, then I did the same thing. Like, I'm like, oh, I'm only Ignition, right? So I kind of like limited myself, like, to just that one platform. And now I kind of have gone full circle. Now I'm like more agnostic. So I was at this trade show last week, and I went around to all the different vendor booths, and like I interviewed like each of the software providers and just talked to them and networked. And it was so cool. It's not like I felt like awkward going and talking to all of them. I'm like, no, you guys all have a product and a service. Like, let's hear about it. Let's see where, your solution fits in the marketplace, and let's not be like close-minded,
Yeah, so it's interesting that you said that, because that's how all of this happened for me. Because I went to Channel Partners in Las Vegas in 2017, so barely last year. My first time ever going. Channel Partners is like a huge conference where they bring the AT&Ts, the Ciscos, Ring Central, like phone systems.
Okay.
Was
Ubiquity there?
Ubiquity is there, managed IT, like it's all under one roof at one point in time in the United States. Like, that's like the biggest conference that I know of. And Channel Partners is focused on people like me who are agnostic, who are resellers. They call us many names: resellers, brokers, agents. There's so many so many jargon words. We call ourselves trusted advisors, technology advisors. But this is what started it for me, is that I went to this event and I started interviewing a lot of the suppliers and a lot of the providers. Walked around the floor, and I did a live stream that day, a 360 live stream, which was terrible. It wasn't working. Had a backup GoPro, and I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. I'm just going and interviewing all these people. And that's kind of how this whole thing happened, how it came to be where I'm on LinkedIn and I'm doing video again.
Awesome, man. That's really cool. So now tell me how, well, I actually have two questions now. I'd like to know, like, you as your technology business, like how you monetize that. Like, are you paying like a flat fee, or are you getting some sort of commission if you do sell a service or a product?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. No, it's completely open door policy. So the way that it works is simple. Customer signs up for AT&T. They pay their bill to AT&T. AT&T cuts me a check based off a portion of their bill. So
Okay.
every single month that they pay their bill, I get paid. So what does that do? When they call me up for help or service,
You're
you
already
know that
getting
I'm
paid.
there, because
Yeah.
my paycheck depends on it. Versus the traditional model where they pay the sales rep X amount of money to be there. They pay for his benefits. They pay for all this stuff. And then they give him like a tiny little commission to sell this thing. And they're also beating into him a sales quota. They're beating into him new products of the week to sell. There's a lot of pressure on that guy to go in and sell. Versus me, I take my customers, I wrap my arms around them. There's a lot of pressure on me to maintain relationships.
Okay.
So it's a different pressure, right? But it's the same thing. So I hug all my customers as best as I can. And no matter who they want to work with, AT&T, Ring Central, whatever, you name it, I'm their guy. And I take good care of them. I get right to the bottom line pricing. I get to the best solution. I'll give them, 1, 2, 3 options, whatever they need to see. And we can ethically pit them and find the best one. So my whole thing is relationships, not sales quotas.
Oh, awesome. I really like that. It's kind of, I am seeing a lot of similarities.
It works. The customers are very open to this now.
It's like an affiliate program, kind of.
Yeah, exactly. Because you have, like, the reality is, like, some of this stuff, like these business services, you can't just go click a button online and buy it yet, right? At the current time, it's too complicated. You need somebody to architect and engineer the solution. That's where I come in. I've been doing it for 12 years. So that's where I come in and I do that. So you still need the face. You still need the sales guy, right? So you still need me in the picture. Now, you could either have one of me who has 300 suppliers, or you could have 300 of me, and you got to go sit through 300 different meetings to figure out which company is going to work for you.
Yeah.
So that's what I do. I remove friction. I save time in busy CIOs' day in his process, or an IT director or IT manager's process of vendor selection.
Sweet. And so now that is really interesting. My second question is about Coffee with Kyle's and kind of how those two components play together. It seems like they're pretty much separate at this point in time. But
Yeah.
I don't know if you plan on doing anything, with the two of them kind of synergizing.
Yeah, so they might seem separate. Like here, I'm over here doing technology, and I'm over here drinking coffee with Kyle's.
Yeah.
But what did I just tell you about my company? My company is all about relationships and hugging my customers and hugging them, bringing them in close. What is Coffee with Kyle's all about? It's all about relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Coffee is a metaphor, man. Coffee, like what we're doing now, drinking coffee together and talking. We're connecting, we're bonding, we're building and strengthening our relationship. So relationships are the key to everything, and attention is the key to getting relationships. So it is all connected, man. It's all connected.
It really is.
So it looks separate. It looks like I'm like doing two separate things, but I'm really doing the same thing. It's just all connected. Like if you zoom out, like I always use this analogy, like with people, like, hey, yeah, you're zoomed in right now to whatever world you're in, the marketing world, the sales world, the technology world. But if you zoom out, you will see that
it's just the world.
Every single industry, it's all connected, right? It's all connected. You got to find those connections though, and you got to zoom out to see them, because you can get like so focused and so like in the details and so in your focal point that you're gonna miss that.
Okay, so tell me about your guys' meeting with Craig and how you guys struck that deal and what you guys plan on doing with him. And
sure, yeah. So Craig is awesome. We met him for the first. That was that day that we did that video that K-Dub posted on LinkedIn is what I'm assuming you're referring to.
Yeah.
That was the first time we actually met him in person. He was actually at LinkedIn Local Dallas.
But you didn't meet him?
But as you know, there was a lot of us at LinkedIn Local Dallas, and we were running around crazy that day.
Yeah.
So didn't get a chance to meet him then. But yeah, so I think what that proves is that with LinkedIn video and just with the shift of the fact that the internet is exposing all of us for what we really are, for good, better, and worse, or worse, is the fact that he already built trust with us, or we already built trust with him before he ever met us in person.
Yeah.
And that's a huge takeaway from what happened there. Because by us putting ourselves out there, by us being who we actually are and just turning the camera on is essentially what we're doing. That's allowing people to connect with us, even if they don't actually know us. But the second that they do meet us in person, right, face to face, which there's nothing is going to replace the value of face to face.
Yeah.
Second they meet us, they already feel like they know us. They already feel like they trust us. They are either already ready to do business with us or not, by the time they meet us. And that's kind of what happened. So that's the perfect scenario.
Amazing. It's kind of similar to like when I posted that video saying I don't know if I'm going to go to VidCon. Joshua Kidd just reached out to me. He's like, I'll buy your ticket. He's like, I've been doing this I've been on my own for 10 years. I know what it's like. It's going to suck. You're going to embrace the suck. He's like, I'm just trying to, help someone out who's at the beginning, stages. And I'm like, dude, I don't even know what to say, dude,
That is so awesome. And we, so Joshua Kidd, the day we did, it was the day we did LinkedIn Local Plano, like the day of LinkedIn Local Plano. I met him for the first time at Nerdvana Coffee Shop. We were going there to go film Kurt Mercadante's Coffee with Kyle. So Kurt was meeting us there. We walked in before Kurt, and he stopped us and said, "Hey, you guys are Coffee with Kyle's." And
wow.
And then we meant to follow up, and then
you're like, "Hey, you're Kurt Mercadante."
Yeah. And then the follow-up game, and then we saw him again at on Friday night at the Deck Capital Factory, and then boom.
Where is Kurt based out of? Or no, I mean, now we're talking about Joshua. Where's Josh? Joshua's in Dallas area, right?
Yeah, he's here. He's here with us. He's in the north. I think he's up here north with us. Correct me if I'm wrong, Josh, but I think he's up here in like the Plano Frisco area, because at least he was working up here. So but yeah, so we're going to be connecting with him some more as well. Great
Sweet.
dude.
So my I think what I can learn best from you is, so I have a client. So the way my business model is I'm doing content, and I'm kind of doing like some digital marketing, like with content mixed in. And so
Mm-hmm.
my primary customer right now is right there in Irving, doing the same, SCADA integration, what I used to do. I worked for them. They were part of the team that I worked on when I was out in Dallas. So basically my objective is to put out content for them, and like kind of spread their awareness, within that Dallas area. So kind of similar to what Craig is doing. So I'm just kind of like the conduit between, my client and my client's client, and getting their
Mm-hmm.
message out. Right. And, I don't
Right,
know. I
right.
mean, so in a way that's kind of similar to what you are doing for Craig, and for your own business, and for, K Dubs is also doing kind of a similar thing. So,
Right.
what would be
Yeah.
your
So
advice to
on
like
that,
focus that effort,
sure. Yeah. So it's interesting that you bring that stuff up because, we have not announced anything, and I'm not sure that there is a big announcement. But I will just say this: that people, companies, have been asking us for help with doing what we've done with Coffee with Kyle's, which it is what it is. Asking us to help them do that same thing, which we're still figuring it out as we go, right? We're
Okay.
still growing. We're
So you're
still
kind of like a advisor to them creating their own show, or
see. We're not sure yet. We're still figuring all that stuff out. So
that's kind of what
yeah,
String had been doing. She was
yeah,
saying that she's going around helping startups create their own content team. And how did
right.
String get to LinkedIn Local Plano too, by the way? That was crazy.
Oh, String. So that was fully planned. So I met String at LinkedIn Local Austin. She had told me there face to face that she's going to be coming up to Dallas in May. So
You planned it
I
around her being
I
there?
mess I messaged her to find out when she's going to be here, and then made sure it was cool that she would be at that date and time, and then it happened. And then kind of after that, I was on a call with Kurt Mercadante, just like the first call that he and I ever had together, and he's like, "Hey, I would love to come to LinkedIn Local Plano." I'm like, "All right, let's do it." And then one thing after another, and then Authentic Alex said she hit us with a nice surprise. She said, "Hey, I'm coming stateside. I just so happened to be in that vicinity during that week." Like, yeah, come on. And then we had to persuade Lila to come one day early because she was actually going to come that weekend because it was Cinco de Mayo weekend. So like,
Mm,
literally, literally, the stars aligned,
wow.
stars completely aligned, and I don't know how it happened, but it did. They all four of them came and headlined the LinkedIn Local event here in Plano.
Okay.
In
Man,
this exact
Amy must have been working overtime for you that to get all that set up.
man, Amy was tired.
That's awesome. Dude, why is
That's
scheduling so hard nowadays? It's like with everyone being so busy, it's like it just seems like I've noticed that with my own podcast. It's like, well, I'm completely open. Like I don't really do anything, Well, I do a lot, but I'm pretty flexible. And then it's like they're flexible, but then it's like really actually hard to nail down a time. And like
uh,
like we're trying to
sure, yeah.
plan something next week to get together for VidCon, and it's like I'm sure there's something every day going on, so inevitably someone's not going to be able to make it. But
Dude, I'm telling you, I cannot wait. I cannot wait for the day where we're just like, Siri, set up a meeting for all of us. I'm in. Just like, Siri, I'm in for the meeting next week. And then
yeah,
you say it, and then six other people say it, and then behind the scenes,
the
Siri
least
just
amount of
like,
people have to make the least amount of sacrifice in order to all
no,
make
you
it.
you just say that you're in, and then they figure it out. The
Hmm.
AI assistants figure it out, and we
Here's
don't
the
have to
best time,
yeah.
3 a.m.
They,
on a
they just like
Sunday night.
automatically figure it out, and we're all just like, cool, and we just show up.
Yeah,
Like, I can't wait for that day.
that'd be perfect.
That's what I'm doing. That's what I'm already like doing with Amy, because I can't stand it. I can't stand it so much that on our show, Copy with Kyle's, we changed the format a little bit. Like, we will only record the show at certain times. So I send out the link. It's the same link every single time. Here's our slots. If that time fits you, perfect. If not, push it back a week.
Okay.
If that doesn't fit you, push it back 2 weeks, push it back 4 weeks. But that's the time that we record now.
Yeah, I've been trying to use Calendly.
Yeah, that's what we use. We use Calendly for that. But that way we know exactly what we're supposed to be doing during that time, because we need to also work ourselves. So if we don't do that, then what we were doing at first, done. We were doing Coffee with Kyle's whenever. We were doing it like 6 times a week at like 6 p.m. and then at 9 a.m. and then at, like, no, I want to set up one time, do 1, 2, 3 max, and then go back to work. Right.
Okay.
That's what we started doing. And, we've made exceptions for guests, because some of them are overseas and in Australia. Like we just had Ruby Lee on, and, it was that our normal time wouldn't work for her. So we made an exception and we did it. So there's always exceptions to the rules, but trying to make some sort of guidelines, some sort of established routine saves a ton of effort.
Okay. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna use that. So, man, I'm looking forward to this week. So you guys flying in on Wednesday?
I'm flying in Thursday.
Didn't it start on Thursday? So you're just gonna get there in the morning and just go straight there?
Yep. No, there's no reason for us to dilly-dally the night before. We're just gonna fly straight in early in the morning,
right on.
Make a couple stops, and we're on the first flight out, and we'll be there.
Sweet. And it's like less than 1% of Airbnbs are still available in that area. It's gonna be packed, So
we got really lucky because we booked this so late. Got really lucky. Found a hotel that's walkable to the convention center.
Very nice.
And we got an awesome rate on it.
That's good. Maybe there's like how late is you're at a WeWork right now, right?
Yeah, I am.
How late is WeWork normally open?
Oh, it's 20. I'm a member, so it's 24/7. I mean, there's hours of operation where the staff works.
Okay.
But WeWork is 24/7. You can come and go as you please.
All right. Maybe we could find a WeWork in the area and kind of do a gathering or something. I don't know. I'm just trying to.
I know there's
brainstorm.
one in Irvine for sure, because I've been to that one a few times.
All right. Yeah, wherever you're going, I'm just gonna follow it.
Cool.
All right, man. I gotta go. My friend's watching my daughter. He's got to go over to work right now, and wife's working. So,
cool.
But thank you for this time, dude. I had enjoying my time talking to you, and I'm gonna need another coffee here pretty soon. So,
no problem. All right.
Say what's up to Kyle for me. We'll talk to you later.
Man. All right. Take care.